Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from, where am I? That's a really good question. How did your challenges go today? Hang on, I need some water. Oh, that feels better. How did your challenges go today? So we had for your, for your mindset challenge, who are you? Did you figure out who you are when you're in public, who you are when you're in person, when you're by yourself, when you close the door? Are they one and the same person, or are they different people? I gotta tell you, feel great too. I had a shower. It was awesome. And a nap. Awesome. And in your business, what are the ethics? What does your business stand for? What ethics do you have? And do you actually, what business ethics do you have? And do you actually, jeepers, brain's gone fried now. Yeah, what business ethics do you have, and do you actually follow those business ethics? So are you ethical in your ethics that you have for your business, or do we need to look at changing some of those? And then have fun writing. Now, remember my suggestion was open a book, just open a random book at a random page and go on the sentence and see what you come up with. I haven't done my writing yet because I ended up taking a shower and having a nap after I spoke with you guys. It was delicious. It was awesome. And I tell you, having that shower was so good after the hot, sweaty drive. So I had Think and Grow Rich here when I was on the last live, and the sentence I happened to come up with was that I happened to stab in the dark. Well, it wasn't the dark, it was light, but I just happened to. It's okay, it's Zeffie throwing her bone. She just threw it down the stairs. So the one I've got to come with, and it became my writing, the sentence became my writing prompt. So my writing prompt, which I've got to write yet, is these millions are struggling, some of them in desperation and fear, to get back to the positive side of the stream. And that was from a random page I chose out of Think and Grow Rich. I just flipped the book open, and then when it landed open at a page, I just went, and that's the sentence it landed on. So I'm going to use that as a writing prompt later on. But oh my gosh, we're in a new location. We are actually in Atlas, I think it's pronounced Atlas, A-L-T-U-S, in Atlas in Arkansas, which is in the middle of Arkansas wine country. And I actually had somebody comment the other day when I said we're going to be staying by vineyards, that asking if there was wineries in Arkansas. Absolutely. Just in this area alone, there are, like seven wineries within very easy driving distance of this location where I'm camping right now. There's one across the road, well actually the wineries across, the vineyards are across the road. I don't know where the actual winery is, but there's a sign out there. But even just coming off the freeway down to here in the 3 miles I came, we passed 4 wineries along the way. There's like 1 or 2 the other side of the intersection. And I'm a bit late today because I was just talking with James, who owns this campground here. Now this campground only has 10 sites, and only 3 of them are actually available at any one time because all the other 7 are all permanents. And so he only has, 3, 4, and 6 of the sites. Numbers 3, 4, and 6. So you get one of those when you come in. But he says quite often he gets people coming in for a week, and they basically base themselves here and go off and do winery tours and everything else. And if they get over to, where was it? I wrote it down. Cowie, the Cowie winery has a Arkansas Historic Wine Museum there. Now I don't drink wines. They're wasted on me. I will take probably a sip or 2, but then I can taste the alcohol, and so I just don't drink. So it's not worth me even buying them. I did a tasting of one time, and all I could taste was the alcohol. And they go, "Oh, this really tastes like chocolate," and all I could taste was alcohol. I was like, "Yeah, no, sorry." And that was the first sip. So, gosh, I'm very shiny today. Must be my moisturizer. And Zeffie was very, very shy when the guy was here, but I managed to get her up so that she could come and say hello to James. And very nice guy. He bought this property that the campground sits on back in 1996. He has vineyards around here too. And he was telling me about trails and came up with a very interesting term which I'd never heard before. But he says, if you just go back there about 3/4 of a quarter of a mile. I'm like, hang on, whoa. 3/4 of a quarter of a mile. So not quite a quarter of a mile. I've got to go 3/4 of a quarter of a mile to get to the place he was talking about. But there's he says you go first thing in the morning or in the evenings and stuff are the best times to go. And they've got he says you can follow the trails. It's all dead grass. They killed the grass off on the trails so they're easy to follow. And he says, but just be careful when you get way over the far side over there because there's a lot of rabbits in that area. And he says, make sure the dog's on the leash. I said, oh, she's on the leash when we step outside anyway because she would just run if she wasn't. And so he said, well, just be careful going through there because she's going to want to go chasing rabbits. I said, yeah. She takes like one step, they take off, and she's like, well, where the heck did they go? Or like she tries to follow and realizes that they're disappeared and she's got no idea where they've gone. But she wants to go the direction that they went to see if she can find them. So this is a very big wine area, and they do wine festivals. They have cycling tours. They have cycling wine tours through the area as well. So for all of my all my friends who love wine, this is a little hidden gem down here. It really is. I had no idea it was here. I just happened to stumble across this camping ground and looked at it and thought, I actually like the look of that. You know, it's quiet. It's 3 miles off the freeway. Who cares? And you know, it's just this little quiet campground. It's all gravel, and I said to the guy, I have to say, I'm really impressed for a gravel campground that the sites are leveled. And he turns around and says, well, I built it myself, and I built it that way. I said, well, you would be surprised. I said, I was at one place in Orlando where they're building 167 new sites at their campground, and I was looking at all the concrete pads, and they're all crooked. I says they're all angled in some way or form. They're not all angled the same way either. Some tilt to the front left, some tilt to the front right, some tilt to the back. I said they're all over the place. He says, why would somebody build crooked pads? I said, I have no idea. I said, but then I was at a campground and told him what exit was off on the 40, and I said I was at this little campground there, which is kind of similar to yours here, but they have asphalt pads with grass in between. And I said, and they were nice and level too. And so I haven't had to use leveling blocks or anything. I just park, put the feet down, boom, level. These are the most level parking. These would be the most level I have been in a campground in a very long time. Some of them are just off just a little bit. But this is I haven't had to do any adjustments to anything on at this site here. It's awesome. And so he told us where the trails were. There's one that's almost directly opposite us. Almost, he says just straight out there in front of you, almost. And I'm like, great. But he knows all the residents here. Well, of course, he's only got 7 sites to worry about. But he was a great guy, full of information. But this area for wine got established in, let's see, there was a guy that came over from Germany in 1872 and another guy that came from Switzerland in 1880. And both of them realized that the soil composition here is very similar to what they have back home, and so they established wineries here, and they've been here ever since. And it's a great little area. So I'm not sure how far away Cowie is or how far I have to drive on Friday, but I'm going to look at a map and have a look, because I figured just going to the museum might be, if it's open, might be a fun thing to go do, even though I don't drink wines. But this is a very big wine area apparently, so who knew? It's amazing what you learn when you're out on the road and going along things. But I said to him, I was driving along, and like around exit 108, there was a sign that said Arkansas Wine Country Trail. And he goes, oh yeah. And he says, yeah, you go off there, and he starts rattling off all these wineries. I was like, whoa. And you come off here at exit, what are we at? Exit 40, what exit did we get off today at? 41. And this is the area around, this is the area where the wineries for Arkansas were founded back in 1872 and 1880. So there's been wine in this area in Arkansas for over 100 years. It's, almost, what was it, 120, almost 150 years in this area. So it's just like crazy. But I love finding little gems like this. And so I'm looking for more little campgrounds like this, because they're great. And even though they don't have laundry facilities and they don't have bathrooms and restrooms, that's okay. I'm self-contained except for the laundry thing. And I can do stays at other campgrounds where they have the laundry facilities, get the laundry done, or find somewhere where I can go. And he looks around and he goes, you don't have a car? And I went, nope. And he goes, so wherever you have to go, you got to take this thing. And I said, well, I try to do things on the way to campgrounds. And if I'm in areas where I'm able to rent a car and I need to get out and about that way, then I rent a car and go round and about that way. And he's like, oh, well, that's an interesting way to travel. I went, absolutely. I said, but it's fun. And I said, I spend most of my time sitting and working anyway. So, but when I'm on the road and all of that. So it was a very interesting journey to get here today. So we finally got to a rest area. We drove for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Drove for 2 hours solid today. Excuse me. We left the campground, went across the road to the gas station, filled up with gas. It took us like 30 minutes. We were there for gas for like 30 minutes again. Must have slow pumps around down this area of town. So we got got Sparkles all filled up. She took like 64 gallons, I think it was. Yeah, 64 gallons, and she has a 75-gallon tank. So, but it's not bad. We did like 400 and something miles, 464 miles, I think it was, on the last tank, which was pretty good. And then we left there, and it took us 2 hours, and we finally came across a rest area. We knew where the rest area was, but we also knew where there were Pilots and Loves and Walmarts along the way, so if we needed to break, we could go into one of those. Went to go to one Loves to have a break, and to find that their truck parking area was completely full. There was nowhere we could park, so we just got back on the freeway and kept going. So we got to this one and managed to do my accountability call. I was so late for that one, but YT was very, very good about it, and she was just happy to hear that I was okay, because she was just a little concerned because she hadn't heard from me and I hadn't called in on time, and I totally forgot it was Wednesday and accountability day, even though I knew I was traveling on a Wednesday, because I normally travel on Mondays, so you don't think of things like that. And then we're at the rest area, and after I did my call with her, we had a quick bite to eat, something to drink, and then went outside to take Zeffy for a walk around. And there was one point, she was going around in circles around me for some reason, and I turned to go, and I took a step backwards, and as I turned, and I took a step backwards, and I'm turning to the right, and as I did that, my foot ended up going into this hole that you couldn't see. There was, it looked like a flat hillside, but you couldn't see the hill because of the way the grass was growing. And see the hill. You couldn't see the hole because of the way the grass was growing. And I've ended up putting my bad ankle, which is the one that I had the high sprain on back 10 years ago. I ended up putting that into this hole, and so wrenched my ankle, wrenched my knee, twisted my back. So yeah, I'm definitely going to feel it tomorrow. But so I've been doing some light stretching, and just some light stretches on that to help keep things a little limber. Going to put another ice pack on everything tonight. We'll go for a walk. Walking seems to help a little bit. We might go do one of the trails around here, since they're only, what was it, 3/4 of a mile? Oh no, that was how far we had to walk to get to the trail that goes through the vineyards. It was three quarters of a quarter of a mile. I love that. I said to James when I stopped laughing, I said, I'm actually going to use that tonight on my Facebook Live, so you can all verify for him that I did that. But yeah, so that was my little, you got to watch where the holes are. And so after that, I sort of started paying real attention to where we were walking, and you could actually see where the holes were, because they were actually a very dark green in comparison to the other grass, even though we're in the shade of the trees and everything else. And so that made it an interesting journey. I was like, great. So, but we got here, total drive time was 3 hours and 1 minute, plus the, what do we have? I think it was just over an hour total, with gas for 30 minutes, rest area for 40, and that was it. Those were the only two stops. Well, the gas one wasn't really a stop, because we drove out of our campsite, around the loop to where the trash can was, because it was to drop the trash off, then went back around the loop again, across the road to the gas station, filled up with gas, and then got on the road. So that can't really count as a stop, but it's 30 minutes. It was 30 minutes there, just filling up with gas. So but yeah, so it's cool. So we're going to have a look on the map, see where Cowie is, see where we've got to go on Friday. We still have to find a place to book in near Springdale for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're probably going to stay through to, trying to look, thinking might stay through to next Thursday. Got a lot of stuff coming up beginning of next week that I need to be anchored for with internet connections and stuff. So going to do that, including I get to start on Wednesday next week. I get to start a 90-day class on interviews, how to give interviews and how to be interviewed. So I'm really, really super excited to be starting that. It's a full 90-day intensive workshop, and it's going to be, we meet every Wednesday, but we've got homework we're going to have to do during that time. And so I'm really, really, really looking forward to partaking of that. It's going to be interesting, and I actually have a one-on-one call with the two people who lead it on either Monday or Tuesday. We just have to pick a time, so I have to really make sure I figure out where I am before then. And I was talking with Jason yesterday, and he says, well, when you get here on Friday, we'll come pick you up, and you come over here for dinner and bring Zeffie with you, and then we can do this weekend, and this. And so apparently there's a chocolate factory we're going to go visit at some point, and there's Andy's frozen custard, which the kids love to make sure that every visitor goes to. And then Sunday afternoon is going to be very, very special. So you have to watch my Facebook page Sunday afternoon, because sometime on Sunday afternoon, probably around 3:30 Central, which will be 1:30 Pacific, we're going to be doing a Facebook Live from the Eby's place, because their girls have their own business. It's called Go Glam, and they sell jewelry, and every piece is $5. And there's earrings and rings and necklaces and bracelets and bangles. And so we're going to be doing a little behind the scenes Facebook Live before they go live. They go live at 4 o'clock Central on Sunday. And if they get up to 30 viewers at one time during the Facebook Live, the girls get to put a pie in Dad's face. So I said to Jason, well, I'm going to make sure that happens. He goes, well, how are you going to do that? I says, we're going to do a behind the scenes Facebook Live of the girls getting ready for the show at 4 o'clock, and then get people to switch over to watch Go Glam at 4 o'clock. And I said, we'll see what we can do about getting 30 people. So put in your calendars now that on Sunday at 4 p.m. Central, there's going to be Go Glam. And if you're watching my Facebook Live a little earlier than that, when they're getting set up, I'll interview the girls and see what some of the fun stuff that they're going to be getting up to and all of that sort of thing. But so pencil out around 3:30 on Sunday Central Time, where I'll be on a Facebook Live. I will have the links in my in the description of where you can go and watch Go Glam. And these girls are adorable. They're 10 and 8, I think. 10 and 7. I can't remember how old Abby is. Kate's 10. I think Abby's like 7 or 8. But they are adorable when they do their Go Glam things. When they describe the pieces of jewelry and just the comments that they have there. It's absolutely adorable just to watch these girls. And so I can't wait to be there on Sunday to actually watch live in person and see that. So we're going to do a behind the scenes prep Facebook Live with them on my Facebook page, and then in the description of the video on Sunday we will have a link to where you can go and watch the Go Glam Live at 4 p.m. because if we get 30 or more people watching at any one time during the Facebook Live, it's got to be at the same time, 30 people at the same time, then the girls get to put a pie in their dad's face. So I wonder if they're going to do that live too. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But that definitely will be live because I'll make sure of it. If they're not going to do it live, I will. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to getting up to Springdale, but I'm looking forward to my 2 days or my full day here tomorrow before we leave on Friday. We're going to go do some wine trail. We're going to go walking around the trails in the morning and in the evenings with Zeffie for a bit of exercise for her, change of scenery, because there's about 2 or 3 different trails we can do here. And one of them starts in 3/4 of a quarter of a mile. I love that, 3/4 of a quarter of a mile. I'm not even sure how far that is. Anyway, I'm out of here. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We will catch you guys tomorrow morning, and we will let you know about one of the trails that we get to do tomorrow. And we may even do Facebook Lives from the trails, so you get to see some of the trails as well. So have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Hei konera.